Hi and welcome to this tutorial on Evernote in the classroom. What I want to talk to you about in this part of the course is the fact that Evernote is in fact part of a family of apps that work really well together and actually can solve lots and lots of your needs in the classroom all through just one logon. So we're going to start with the famous app Evernote. I'm going to open that up. And this is the sort of screen that you would come to initially with your most recent things at the top. What we're going to do, we're going to go into notebooks, and you see all your notebooks are lined up here. We're going to create a new one today called Modern Lessons. Just like that, down the bottom here. And you go straight into that notebook, and we're going to create a note. Immediately you get this blank canvas. And what I want to show you are the various different things that you can do in order to create a note. But before we do that, it's really important that you or your students label your work really carefully. So we're going to call this one Modern Lessons Test. And the reason this is important is because if you use this instead of exercise books, as I've done in the classroom, then it's fantastic, but if kids don't label their work effectively, then it's really hard to keep track of what they've done. So we've labelled our note, we tap the note, and we get our keyboard up, and you can see at the top of the keyboard that there is reasonable functionality in terms of word processing. So if we highlight the text, we can bold, italic, underline, various other things. We can do bullet points. So the functionality is good. It's not as good as a word processor. Say you're using Pages, that's much more functionality, but this is a good starting point. So here's our note labelled with some text in it. So that's one type of note. Okay, so easy enough to add text. If we wanted to, we could take a photo by launching the camera through the camera icon top there, but we're actually just going to move straight on to the two photographs. If you hit that, it will access your camera roll. This is really useful if you've had students doing research on the web. They will have taken screenshots of bits of information, and they can then save that in their Evernote. So here my students were researching locations of Elizabethan theatres in London using Google Earth. They took screenshots of where they thought they were, and they can go and annotate these elsewhere, which we'll talk about later. But if they were to go home, not have access to an iPad, then they can access Evernote on their PC or laptop, and all of this information that they gather in class will be there waiting for them. So that's great. Also, you can record audio information. So let's just make sure we label up. Really important, as I said. Hit the microphone, and you'll see that at the top of the screen the microphone has been launched, and when you finish speaking, recording whatever it is, maybe you just want the kids to record your lesson, you speaking about to give them an important bit of information. Maybe they are kids with special needs, they can't take the notes quickly enough. Lots of reasons why you might do this. You press done when you've finished recording, and it will load in a QuickTime file into that note. So you can see there are three different ways of collecting information in Evernote: written, photographic, and audio information. So that's Evernote. That in itself is pretty revolutionary. It is an interactive exercise book, if you like, much better than pen and paper because so much more varied information can be captured. If we shut that down and open up Sketch will run on exactly the same login as your Evernote account. This time though, it's this is all image-based stuff and to do with annotations. So again, if we choose a photo, as I was mentioning my students' research on Elizabethan theatres, what you can see here, I've loaded in this this image. I can now draw over this image if I choose. Here we go. I can move that around. Like so. I can type text. Spelling it the English way. We can move that around. Put an arrow in there. And we can crop that, do whatever we like. But as soon as we hit save, in the top right hand corner, we will save it to our Sketch account. But more importantly than that, because the Sketch and Evernote accounts are linked, this will actually sync with a folder in Evernote which is simply called Sketch. So all of this information, once it's been synced here, you can see it's whirring away, will actually be in our Evernote account. And you can just see from the examples that I've got up there that I've been showing students how to annotate text, all sorts of things, using Sketch. Very, very effective tool, and it works with what they've been doing in Evernote. So we'll just leave that to sync for a moment, and I will show you Penultimate. So as I mentioned, Evernote is part of this family. Penultimate is the third sort of major app in this family. I'd love to show it to you in more detail, but it doesn't play nicely with AirPlay. So you have to believe me when I say, when I am opening this up and seeing this, what I am actually seeing is an exercise book with lined paper. And I can change that lined paper to graph paper if I want to. As with the other two apps, I can drop in photos. But as I say, what's important about this is it actually looks like an exercise book. I can flick the pages. That was me flicking a page, believe it or not. If I go back to this original page, what I want to show you is the accuracy of handwriting that you can get. Just demonstrate again. This is me using my rather ill-coordinated finger. Hello. This is a modern lesson. As I say, I don't have neat handwriting, and therefore my finger writing is even worse. There is a rubber. You can get rid of anything that you write very easy. There's also a cut tool where I can draw around any particular section and move that around the screen like so. So what you have is another really powerful tool and another really good way of collating information, because sometimes writing is the best thing to do. Handwriting is going to remain important in schools for a long time, and this is a good way of modernising that whole technique. And the final important thing to remember about Evernote, to discuss about Evernote, is how it is going to fit in with your ability to assess your students. Okay, so if we open up Evernote, we can see a really important function. We open up your folder, press the share button on the right hand side, and it will bring up this box, which will just take a moment to load, and it will give you the option to create a public link or to invite individuals. And this can work two ways for you. If you, as the teacher, have lesson ideas in your Evernote folder that you want to share with students, then you would hit invite individuals, and you can then add email addresses and invite those students to access your Evernote folder. what I have done is got my students to create an English folder, and they have given me access to that folder. What that means is I can view all of the work in their folder, but I can't edit it. And this is a useful situation in that I just see an honest reflection of their work at any given moment, and I can track how they're progressing as they go through the course. And those are the key functions of the Evernote app. Hope that was helpful. Thanks.